Hi everybody, John here with another Well of John video. Last night I drafted the Modern Cube, and I had so much fun with the first match that I decided that I wanted to have more fun. So let's just look at the deck real quick. I drafted a mono green ramp deck. Turns out that mono green ramp tends to be a pretty decent deck in a lot of circumstances here in the Modern Cube, or in cubes in general, really. The draft started off with me taking this Murderous Cut, which is 4 and a black instant with Delve, destroy target creature. Took it over a Elves of Deep Shadow, which was in the same pack. But then I got past Joraga Treespeaker or Soul Elf, and then kind of went off from there. My third pick was Dark Confidant, because I was like, maybe I'll go, black aggro or green black aggro. Then I took Ghalta fourth pick, because I felt spicy. So basically, the goal of the deck is to ramp into big things, whether it's a Ghalta or an Immortal Sun, or things like Primal Command or Whisperwood Elemental to end the game. Nissa Voices Zendikar is also pretty good at helping our dudes get bigger. Plus, with things like Rishkar, we can really kind of explode out of the gate. We have 15 lands, which wasn't a problem in our first match. We won 2-0. We also have a Nykthos Shrine to Nyx if we want to make a bajillion mana, and we have a Treetop Village as another non-basic. And I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the replay of our first game so that you can see kind of what was going on in it. So I'll see you guys in that one. Alright, here we are for game number 1 with Mono Green Ramp. I won the die roll, which was nice. Decided to go first. And then here's my opening hand. I've got, as you see, I've got Forest, Pilgrim, Immortal Sun, Signet, and Explore. I believe I keep this hand. I don't remember if I did or not. I think I kept it. Yes, I did decide to keep. Because as it turns out, being able to play a turn 1 ramp, turn 1 mana dork in Avacyn's Pilgrim is very important. This way I could play a turn 3 Ronus, or I could even play a Golgari Signet. Depending on what our opponent decided to do. They led up with Lava Cloud Reaches and said go. We actually, in this case, decided to start with an Explore instead, which drew us a Treetop Village, and then we played it and the Forest to kind of get us a little bit further ahead on mana. They go Island Go, so they're clearly representing the fact that they are Grixis control. Here, I decided to go with the most mana-efficient play, and I played my Golgari Signet. Which basically acts as a land that taps for 2 mana that you have to pay 1 into. And then I played my Ronus. Now this is the first time where I actually misplayed, because my opponent decided to cast Condescend for 1. And I actually let this resolve. I accidentally let this resolve instead of paying the 1 for it. I think they only did this to get the Scry 2, but that was my number 1 mistake, I think, in this entire match, was not paying for that Ronus. It ended up not biting me in the butt too much, but I mean, get in for 1 here. If I wasn't paying the 1 for it, then I'm just going to get in. Opponent follows up with a Palladium Mirror, so they're also on the ramp plan. We drew a Rattleclaw Mystic, but we have 6 mana, so we're going to go ahead and play our Immortal Sun. Which, remember, for those who don't remember what the Immortal Sun does, players can't activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. At the beginning of your draw step, you draw an extra card, your spells cost 1 less, and your creatures get +1/+1. So now my Pilgrim's a 2/2, and now is essentially a 4 cost reduction on Ghalta, 1 from the Immortal Sun, 2 for the Pilgrim, and 1 from the Pilgrim's ability. They decide to play a Batterskull, which is annoying because it is watch out. Because Batterskull is a 4/4 lifelink. As you see on my turn, I play a 2 mana Morph for Radical Mystic, and then a 3 mana Master of the Wild Hunt. Then there's no reason to attack here. I try to cast Ghalta, but there's no way that I have the mana to cast him. But he would be GG on this board for many various reasons. The opponent decides to get in with the Germ, and we're just going to let them in. Again, we're not going to block. Also, we see Overwhelming Stampede in our hand, which is a pretty absurd limited card in general. And in Cube, it can be even more powerful. Opponent plays City of Brass, so their mana is actually really good. And they're going to go ahead and Sower of Temptation our Master of the Wild Hunt. Which is annoying, but, you know, it's a little awkward. We're going to draw an extra card off of Immortal Sun, and we draw Strangler Geist and Jadelight Ranger. So we go ahead and check the Calls of Ghalta. But first thing we do is flip our Radical Mystic so we get a little bit more mana. And then we check the cast of Ghalta, play a Strangler Geist, and then we play our Ghalta. I was trying to see if I could play both Geist and Jadelight Ranger in addition to Ghalta, but we unfortunately just don't have enough green mana, sadly. Looks like our playing 15 lands is kind of currently biting us in the butt. Again, we can't really attack here, but we now have clear board superiority with a 13/13 Ghalta, as well as a few little dorks. Now, obviously, Ghalta has Trample itself. However, Overwhelming Stampede, probably being one of the best overruns they've ever made, is really going to put a hampering on what our opponent's able to do. Our opponent then decides to cycle a Canyon Slough to see if they can get some more action. And then they follow this up with a Olivia Voldaren. And they have the activation ability up so that they can kind of ping one of our creatures in step and then steal our Ghalta, presumably. However, we find Forest, and then we actually have enough mana to activate Treetop Village. And we have to tap our Avacyn's Pilgrim to cast this Overwhelming Stampede, but then our entire board gets +13/+13, and our opponent decides to scoop it up. I don't know if they did the math. I don't know, but I know I didn't do the math. But I mean, Ghalta would be 26/26, and they're only at 23. They're gaining 4, and they can barely stop. They can only stop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 power. Even if they put everything on Ghalta, they would definitely be taking way more than that. So that is the end of game number 1. Now, when we look at game 2, we are now on the draw. And this was my opening hand. I decided to keep it because, again, it's got Pilgrim, it's got Treetop Village, which is a little awkward with a Pilgrim hand. But we've also got Harmonized Ghalta and Rishkar's Expertise, which is a very explosive card. We draw Awakening Zone, but that doesn't change our turn 1 play of wanting to play this Avacyn's Pilgrim. Again, playing our one mana dorks is going to be really important in this matchup. They leave up the same type of mana as they did last game, so I'm a little worried about Condescend, but at the same time, I'm still going to run out this Awakening Zone. Awakening Zone is really insane with Ghalta as well as with Overwhelming Stampede with any number of creatures. However, they do in fact have the aforementioned Condescend for 1, which we cannot pay, and they do their Scries, and we let our opponent continue on in their merry way. They play Dragonskull Summit, and then they tap out once again for Palladium Mirror. You know, better lucky than good. This time I decided to cast Harmonize main phase, just so that, or here, instead of waiting to play like Treetop Village that last turn, only so that I could play around any of their counter magic. Our opponent, however, plays a turn 4 Keranos, God of Storms, which is a very annoying card to deal with when you're a dorky little green ramp deck. So this leaves me with a few options. I know I'm playing a land for turn. The question is, am I playing Village or Forest? And then whether I want to play both Geist and Duskwatch Recruiter. I decided to play the Village so that I didn't have any more tap lands. And then I play Geist, get in for 2, and then play Duskwatch Recruiter. I know that if my opponent draws a spell, that the Recruiter is going to get bolted. Our opponent draws a Lava Claw Reaches, however, and plays it as their land for turn. So they just drew an extra card this turn, which is not great, but, you know, there's worse fates. Opponent now they tap and they retap their mana, trying to figure out what they want to play, and they just play a Distended Mindbender, which has the ability where the opponent discards a CMC 3 or less card, or in a CMC 4 or more card, and we only have 3 possible hits for them: Expertise, Ghalta, and Immortal Sun. And our opponent decides that upon resolving the ability to discard our Ghalta and leave us with the Immortal Sun and Rishkar's Expertise, we draw a land, which is unfortunate. It's really hard to flood in a 15 land deck, but we're managing it, and we just land the Immortal Sun and say go. This time our opponent draws a Phantasmal Image, which will be relevant a little bit later. Then they go ahead and kill our Duskwatch Recruiter, which is definitely going to be one of the more annoying cards to deal with. Opponent then follows it up with their Batterskull and gets in for 5. we decide to block here to just upgrade our Strangleheart Geist into a 4-3. And then we start drawing more cards with Immortal Sun, and we draw Thrun, which is going to be really insane in this matchup. We obviously play our land for turn, and then we go ahead and play a 2-mana Ronus, which is pretty good. And then we play a Rishikar's Expertise just right now, and cast a Thrun off of it. We drew a Nissa, which is a little unfortunate thanks to the Immortal Sun. Master of the Wild Hunt is also really good. However, every time we've played it, it's gotten taken with Star of Temptation. And then we also have an Oath of Nissa for a little bit of selection later on. I debate attacking with the Geist, and I eventually get in there. Our opponent decides not to block with the Germ, and Kronos draws a Mountain, which they immediately play, so they get an extra card. Opponent then decides to cast their Phantasmal Image to clone our Ronus, which is a little annoying, but our Ronus is bigger than their Ronus, which is nice. So we draw Forest into Golgari Signet, and Signet is a little bit more insane with the Immortal Sun in play. And I decide to go for the max value play of playing Oath of Nissa, see what we can find. We find 2 Mana Dorks and an Explorer. I decide to take the Dork that is the Rattleclaw Mystic, because in our deck, with Immortal Sun in play, Rattleclaw is just basically a better Llanowar Elves. Then we cast her, we cast Master of the Wild Hunt, and then I decide, hey, I've got Nissa, I will go ahead and cast her, and then I forgot that I can't activate her abilities, thanks to the fact that I have the Immortal Sun in play. Which was a little awkward, but I decided to go, you know what, I paid my lumps, I'm going to pass the turn. Opponent draws a Swamp for their turn, draws an extra card. At this point, I'm just like, I need something big and scary to finish the game off. I could eventually Thrun, or Ronus plus Thrun to get there. Opponent then taps 4 mana and plays the aforementioned Sower of Temptation to steal our Master of the Wild Hunt, which is the second time that's happened, which is annoying. But we draw Overwhelming Stampede and Jadelight Ranger, and at this point, I'm kind of doing the math, trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. They have 3 cards in hand, and so I have a Ronus here, so I know that everything can get +6/+6, but instead I decide to do a little bit of a higher value play, and I buff up the Thrun to a 7/5, and then I cast Overwhelming Stampede to give everything +7/+7, and then here I haven't done the math again as well, but I think we have way more than enough power for their 14. They can go up to 18. Ronus is dealing 12 regardless of how they block. And so our opponent scoops it up there. So as you can see, this has been a really fun deck to play, and I'm really excited to take it into the league. So let's see how it does in round 2. All right, here we are for round number 2. We run the die roll, and we would like to be on the play. This hand's actually pretty decent. I mean, we're going to go turn 1 Treetop Village, turn 2 Explore, turn 3 Cultivate. This is pretty fine. I mean, worst comes to worst, I play a turn 3 Master of the Wild Hunt. But we'll see how this hand plays out. They mulligan to 6, and they're going to keep their 6. And they decided to scry to the top. Alright, so they're scrying to the top. Yeah, we're going to lead with Treetop Village and say go. Better to just play the village first, especially since we don't have any dorks. Oh, are they on Fun Police? Yeah, they are. They're on mono red or potentially red-white aggro, but usually we don't see Figure of Destiny without a good reason. Usually one of the 2 aggressive decks. We're going to go ahead and explore. Draw an Immortal Sun, which is going to be great later. Find a forest and say go. So now we could play turn 3 Master of the Wild Hunt. However, I think it's going to be a little bit better to go ahead and Cultivate just to ensure that we hit our higher line drops. Ooh, Thriving Grubs, and a very aggressive creature. But they don't upgrade their Figure of Destiny, which seems wrong. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Cultivate. Unsurprisingly, we're going to go grab 2 forests. And then next turn, let's see, we'll have 4, 5. Yeah, we'll put a forest into play. Doesn't matter. Play a forest. So we can have 6 mana, so we can go ahead and play the Immortal Sun. I am really keen on landing this Immortal Sun because then a lot of our creatures can get out of bolt range fairly easily. Because right now I can just play Master of the Wild Hunt. who is really good in creature matchups. However, if they have any sort of deal 3s, he just dies immediately, and that's not what I want to do. Same with like Rishkar. If I can land the Immortal Sun, and then all of these creatures become cheaper, then that's going to be way more value for me. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about certain cards, like being in older formats, like Fire Blast or anything like, or any of the legacy only cards. Although we do have a lot of the best burn spells currently are actually just modern legal. So they upgrade their figure and pump up the Thriving Grubs, which is not good. But let's see what our opponent's follow up is, if they have one. They don't have one. All right, that's pretty good. I wonder what they're leaving up for double red. Maybe Searing Blaze? Searing Blaze would be annoying. Searing Blaze would be a card that cleanly deals with Jaylight Ranger. Stampede is great here, but once again, I think I just have to slam this Immortal Sun and pray they don't have like an Abrade. Abrade's going to be an annoying card for us anyways, but next turn I get to play a 2-mana Rishkar, a 2-mana Jaylight Ranger, and if we draw a land, we can play a 2-mana or 3-mana Master of the Wild Hunt. They have the Magma Jet. Okay. So what is Magma Jet scrying? That's kind of the next most important information. They go top, which is bad for me. Hopefully it's not like a Goblin Guide or a whatever or anything else that would be really annoying personally. Hero of Oxid Ridge. That is very annoying. So that is for a 11 damage. I'm at 1. Oh, I'm probably just dead here then. I am probably very dead. Alright, so we're drawing an extra card, which is nice. Play Forest. Huh. Well, let's play Jaylight Ranger. Let's explore a few times. Nissa. Nissa will... Do I want to keep Nissa? If I survive next turn, I think I win just off of Overwhelming Stampede. Because I can go Ronus into Stampede. So I don't think I'm playing Nissa. So we'll bin Nissa. Ghalta. I'll keep Ghalta on top. Ghalta's going to be pretty good. Then we'll play Master of the Wild Hunt. And then we'll play Rishkar. And we'll put counters on Rishkar and Master of the Wild Hunt. And we will hope and pray that they don't have a burn spell, although I am less than confident that they do. Okay, good. The Figure of Destiny doesn't become like a bajillion. That's good to know. Also with Ghalta on top, Ghalta plus Stampede should be lethal, unless they have like a burn spell or something. Like anything kills me. Oh, Thundermaw Hellkite? Yeah, that does it. That does it. Sad days. Well, we were a turn too slow on the play. I think if we had a Mana Dork, that we could have done a little bit more. I don't know if we want to side in our black spells. Or try to make a green-black deck to deal with what they've got. Yeah, let's just run it back. I think... Maybe I should have played... Maybe I should have played the Master of the Wild Hunt on turn 3. Force them to have something instead of going for the Cultivate line. Well, we'll see. Yes, I would like to go first. This hand is fine. It's unexciting, but fine. I don't think I can mulligan a hand that has these cards in it. I can play Nest Invader, which is 2 blockers, although I think I'm just going to go with Strangleroot and Geist. They are going to play... Oh, they're going to suspend Greater Gargadon. Alright. Gargi is an annoying card, to say the least. We will go ahead and play Geist, and we will get in for our hasty damages. Gargadon will potentially be annoying if it ever comes off of Suspend, although I'm not too afraid of them playing it off of Suspend. Opponent plays Thriving Grubs, which is fine. We are going to go ahead and attack with Geist, or Strangleroot Geist again. Big thing here is just trying to see if they want to trade, which I didn't think they did. So now we're going to play Golgari Signet. And then we're going to play Nest Invader as well. Make an 0-1, say go. So next turn we can Overwhelming Stampede. It's a bad idea, but we could. Greater Gargadon ticks ever closer to coming into play. Opponent plays a Mountain, and they're going to play a Rabble Master. Yeah, Rabble Master is going to be annoying. Rabble Master makes a Goblin token, and Gobbo has to attack. Or all other goblins must attack. Are they going to attack with the grubs as well? Alright, so they are sending in the grubs. I'm not afraid to take a little bit of damage off of the grubs, but I will eat this goblin just for free. Oh, they said, clever. Sack the goblin to a Greater Arcanon. Sure. Alright, what do we draw? We draw Cultivate. Okay. So, my lines I'm thinking of are, let's go ahead and play Cultivate. It's always going to be pretty decent. Well, so I have 6 mana, so I definitely can't Cultivate and Primal Command, but I think I want a Primal Command. My Primal Command later, I think I could take a turn off, because I think I'm going to Primal Command to gain 7 life and search for Ghalta. But I think I'm going to want to Cultivate first. So let's go ahead and just Cultivate. Leave our creatures back. This way we can use Strangler Geists to trade with the Thriving Grubs, or if they decide to get real frisky, to trade with the Rabble Master. I don't imagine that they're going to do that, but we're just going to go ahead and say go. Gargadon kicking ever closer to achieving sentience, or at least entering the battlefield. Another mode that I could consider for Primal Command is put target non-creature permanent on top of its library to kind of stonewall one of their lands and just make them have a dead draw for the next turn. Alright, opponent is swinging with both of these. Okay. So I'm going to do the same block I did last time. Except this time I'm also going to block with Strangleroot Geist. Here and here. It does mean that the Greater Gargadon could come in a few turns sooner. They're going to let those happen. Okay, so Strangleroot Geist is going to come back. Decided not to sack things to the Gargadon. So what's their plan now? This isn't a deck that... they might play Slagstorm, but I don't see them playing Slagstorm here. Oh, they had Forked Bolt. Okay, that is less fine, but yeah, I can't blame you for that. Into what? Into nothing. Okay. We draw a Rattleclaw Mystic. So we have 7 mana, so we can play the Mystic and Primal Command. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with Primal Command. And I think I do want to go ahead and shut off one of their draws. So I think I'm going to go with the line of put target non-creature permanent on top of its owner's library and search for a creature card. They could just sack the land to Gargadon, which I think I'm fine with. Although I think that, actually, I think gaining 7 life is just going to be way more impactful. So I'm going to gain 7 life, and I'm going to go find a creature card and put it into my hand. Alright. I could consider, Jadelight Ranger, but I think the best thing for me to grab is just going to be Ghalta. And then I'm going to cast a Rattleclaw Mystic and say go. So now Ghalta costs 7, although I don't know if my creatures are going to survive this turn, which is a little unfortunate. But I don't feel too bad about trying to do this line. What do you have, opponent? Oh, they had an Abrade. Ah, they brought the Abrades in. Okay. So Abrade kills the Geist, which is fine. Gargadon becomes ever closer. So the bad news is Ghalta now costs 10 because of Rattleclaw Mystic. But she does account for her own mana, so I've got 8 in play. Drawing the Immortal Sun right now would be pretty nice. Yeah, I know they know about Ghalta. It's fine. So they have... Alright, so they're just going to go ahead and burn everything out, which is fine. Alright, so now they're going to hit me for 4. Yep. Ah, Whisperwood Elemental. That's even better. Because Whisperwood gives us... can make us some extra blockers, which is going to be real nice. Also, Whisperwood is going to make it much harder for the opponent to attack through our dudes, because they're just going to make a dude every turn. So, for example, we manifest Nissa, so we're never flipping her up, which is fine. Gargadon ticks down. Ghalta is now going to cost 6 mana. No. Yeah, 6 mana. Chandra is awkward. What is Chandra going to do? She's going to tick down. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and sack it to its ability for value. For max, as everyone knows, you got to get max value. All right, Rabblemaster makes a token. Do they decide to jam with Rabblemaster? Because I'm either blocking a Goblin token or I'm blocking Rabblemaster. Yep. That's roughly what I thought was going to happen. Block the Goblin. They're going to sack it to Gargadon. Yep. We take 1. I thought we had a great answer in Whisperwood Elemental, and then they just decided and then they followed up with Chandra. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana. Alright, we're still short of Ghalta. We need another 2-power creature. Although if we play Ghalta, I don't know how the red deck beats it outside of something like Active Aggression, which I don't know is in the cube or not. Like Active Aggression or Active Treason. I could have attacked there, but I have the feeling they would consider trading with the Rabblemaster, but this Chandra's not going to do anything too scary this turn. And if something crazy does happen, like they slam this Gargadon or something, I want to be prepared for it. And also, I don't want this Rabblemaster to attack. Because, like, sure, Ghalta is one hell of a stop sign, but they have Koth. Koth is also annoying. So Koth is going to make a mountain. I think they're trying to figure out if they have... So they can put the Gargadon into play this turn if they wanted to. They have to wait until the beginning of combat, but they are able to do so if they want. Oh, they decided to sack a land instead? That is very aggressive. Yep. So here comes Mr. Gargadon. Big ol' 9/7 haste for 1 mana. And a lot of turns. So now they have 1, 2, 6, 10, 9. They are attacking for exactly lethal if they swing with everything. Yeah, that's what I thought. Alright. Oh, and they haven't activated Chandra yet. Oh, that's even worse for me now. So I have to block something. Because if I block a goblin, I go to 1, then Chandra kills me. But if I block I'm gonna block Rabblemaster. Get that off the table. Turns out that Primal Command gaining 7 life was very relevant here, although you're gonna make mana? Kargan Dragonlord, sure. And Master of the Wild Hunt. That does not do it, and we get beaten by Mono Red, which I guess is to be expected. They're going to have the right answers. Like they had Forked Bolt, they had Abrade, they had Firecraft in this game, they had Magnus Ray last game, so I don't feel too bad about that. Thankfully, round 1 was pretty sweet. Although now we need to win this round to vindicate ourselves, even though Vindicate's a black and white card. So let's see how this one goes. Alright, we found our match. We are on the draw, and we have this hand. They kept 7. I think we're going to keep this 7. We have Exploration, or we have Explore, not Exploration, and we have Golgari Signet, so that should be pretty alright. Opponent leads on Plains, which is not... Is awkward? No, that's not the right word for it. We'll see what they do on turn 2. Black-white into nothing? Well, I'm just going to play out a Signet. Don't Mana Tithe me? Okay, no Mana Tithe. I'm assuming if they had a Mana Tithe, they would have used it there. Drana. Drana is annoying, but not impossible for us to beat. We draw Overwhelming Stampede. Let's see if we can't hit another land off of this Explore. We did. Nykthos, Forest, and then we will use our mana and play Ronus, the Indomitable. Ronus won't always be able to attack, but Ronus will definitely be able to attack at some point. Now, the Drana does get bigger as time goes on, which is concerning, but we don't have many answers to flyers in the main deck anyways, especially not first striking flyers. Opponent plays a land and says, go. Well, let's play Recruiter. And then we'll play Rishkar, Pima Renegade. And Rishkar is going to put a counter on Ronus and a counter on Rishkar itself. That way Ronus could tap for mana, among other things. What do they have? Apparently nothing, so that's fine. And we'll just say go, because we can't attack with anything. I mean, they could have like a Vraska's Contempt, or an Anguish Unmaking, or something. Alright, 3 mana for... Yep, Anguish Unmaking, that's fine. Black-White's going to have a ton of answers for it in an Indestructible God like Ronus. So that doesn't surprise me in the least. Follow-up is Deckenstone. Whew. Opponent has a lot of answers, which I'm fine with. I'm okay with them having kind of, just a bajillion things. Alright, so we have 5 mana. So I can play Tree Speaker and Harmonize, or I can play Whisperwood Elemental. I think I want to play Whisperwood Elemental, but first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get in there. I don't imagine that they're going to do anything to this in combat, so... And then play our good old friend Whisperwood Elemental. Say go. Make a manifest token. Doomblade. Sure. I could have sacked it there, but and they weren't hitting the recruiter, so I don't mind that much. They find an exotic orchard, which is awkward because our Nykthos can technically make any color of mana. Sun Titan brings back nothing. Okay, we'll take 4, go to 11. Drew Nissa. Okay. So, what do we do here? So the bad news is that Drana is lethal in 2 turns. And we have to block the Sun Titan. So I think one of the things that we have to do is we have to go Nissa and make a plant token. The plant's probably just going to get under the bus. And then play a Draga Tree Speaker. And then we're just going to say go. Now Drana could spend a turn and attack Nissa, but they have us dead in 2 turns anyways, so I don't know if that's what they want to do. Let's see. Alright, so Sun Titan is coming at us, and Drana is coming at Nissa. So Nissa is definitely dying, so the question now is, do I want to take 6? Go to 5? I don't think we can. I'd rather them work a little bit harder for it. And they're not going to cast anything. Okay, so Dustwatch Recruiter is going to flip, which I am totally okay with. We draw Llanowar Elves. Right, so they're at 15. Overwhelming Stampede is going to give +6/+6, or +3/+3. So that's a 6, that's a 5, that's a 4. Okay, so Stampede isn't lethal. But we're not dead yet, which is the important part here. So I think what we're going to do first is we're going to harmonize, see what we can find off of the top of the deck. Found a Forest, and Rattleclaw Mystic, and a Llanowar Elves. So now I think we play Rattleclaw Mystic. Oh wait, our creature spells cost 1 less. Haha! So we're going to play Elves and Rattleclaw Mystic, and then we just say go here. And then next turn, depending on what happens. Alright, so they Dictate. Alright. So Dictate means that we cast 2 spells, so our recruiter flips back. So now, Selfless Spirit. Spirit's awkward, but not... We can still beat it. We're dead in 2 turns to this Drana. So why did they sack Selfless Spirit? Oh, to bring it back with Sun Titan? That's cute. That's adorable. We will block with Tree Speaker. Because we don't want to die. Unsurprisingly, dying is not something that we want to do. Alright. So we have Cultivate. Okay, so let's see here. I can Nykthos for 3, but that doesn't do anything. Nykthosing for 3 does absolutely nothing. I guess that would have been an argument to block with the Manifest, although I think I'm going to need the power. So if I Overwhelming Stampede, everything gets +2/+2, and we die. Primal Command doesn't do anything either except gain 7 life. Because then we die. We can Cultivate. What does this... Alright, can I crack my clue for anything? I think the answer to that is a very easy no. Because I can Primal Command, put the Dictate on top of their library. They draw it for turn. Play it, kill me. And they would kill me with Drana and Selfless Spirit. And it's a sorcery, so I have to do it main phase. I can Overwhelming Stampede, attack for a lot, but I would only be able to deal 7, 9, 8 damage. That's not good enough. So I think the answer is just concede to hide information. Well, let's go ahead and crack the clue, see what we draw. It was a forest. Does that change any of the math? No, it doesn't change anything. Alright. Black-white, mid-range. Sun Titans and Selfless Spirits. And bunch of baloney. Bunch of baloney, if you ask me. I don't have a lot of... I don't think I can deal with all of their things, so I'm thinking about whether I want to side in all my black cards. Like, our Dranas would stare at each other, we would have Tragic Slip and Murderous Cut for their creatures, but... No, I think that we can get there. We just have to dodge basically every piece of removal they have. And we've seen a lot. Because they had, they had Doomblade and a bunch of other crap. This is fine. It doesn't have our turn 1 mana dorks, but this will do fine. Nest Invader is 2 creatures that they have to deal with in 1. Kythian, sure. I'm slightly confused at the opponent's deck because it's both a Kythian deck and like Kythian and Sun Titan. I guess they kind of go together. It's a little awkward, but oh well. Opponent decides not to attack. It's probably for the best. We found Ghalta. Alright. So we found Ghalta, so that means we're just going to slam this Ronus and say go. So now Ghalta costs 7 less, so he costs 5. Path to Exile. Well, I will use Path to Exile's ability. I will put a force into play. That is mildly annoying. All right, so they are land screwed, so that's nice. All right, so we have 5 mana. I guess the question is, how much of a dick do I want to be? I think Harmonize is going to be the better play for me here. Fine, Jadelight Ranger? Yeah. Alright, we'll say go. The next turn we'll have 6 mana, so I can like Jadelight and Master of the Wild Hunt. Or I'll have 7 mana, so I can do Jadelight and Master of the Wild Hunt. And they still not found a land. Alright. Next. Alright, we found enough forests. So let's Daylight Ranger. Okay. We should hit mostly action at this point. Or I would hope we would hit mostly action. I wonder what they're waiting on. Avacyn's Pilgrim can be put to the yard. Then we drew another land. Okay. We'll sack this Eldrazi Spawn and play Master of the Wild Hunt. If they Mana Tithe me here, that's whatever. Okay, good. Then we'll just say go. I don't want to expose anything yet. Alright, so they found their swamp. And what are they going to do? Doomblade the Master of the Wild Hunt. That's fine. Alright, so how much does Ghalta cost again? 7? So I can actually play that. That's cool. So now the big question is, what's in their hand? Because they have to have just like a ton of removal. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to put their swamp on top of their library. And we're going to search our library for a creature and put it on top, put it into our hand. Alright, what creature do we want? Let's just grab Thrun, because they don't have a good way of dealing with Thrun. So that was a time walk. Night's Whisper, sure. Isamaru, Doge of Kanda. I am a little confused at why they have both Kythian and Isamaru in a deck with Sun Titan, but who am I to judge? So let's go ahead and play the Thrun Father. How much does Ghalta cost now? 3 mana? Let's play Nissa, and we'll tick Nissa up, and say go. So I don't know how they beat a Thrun. Because they can't target it with any of their removal, I can just constantly regenerate it. They can try to kill Nissa, but I have excellent blocks to deal with it. Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, sure. You may have a Sorin. You may make a vampire. Yep. You have no attacks. We draw a forest. Let's play Treetop Village. We're actually going to animate Treetop Village. We're going to play Ghalta. We're going to put a counter on all our dudes. And then we will attack Sorin, attack Sorin, attack Sorin, attack Sorin. Okay. See what our opponent does. So they can try to save Sorin, but they won't be able to. They can try to trade some things off, but then their Kythian isn't going to flip. Yep, so they're just going to let Sorin die. Say go. Yeah, so we've got Ghalta. What do you have? Saram's Expertise. Make a bunch of dudes into what? Deccanstone Ghalta. Sure, Ghalta's gone. Alright, so now Kythian is going to flip. Oh, only attacked with 2. Fatal Error, opponent. Fatal Error. So, Kythian is not flipping. I wonder if they did that so that they could leave back the vampire to block? I guess. It's the only line that makes sense, really. What do we draw? Can it not be a land? Rattleclaw Mystic. Well, somehow we have drawn approximately every land in almost every land in our deck. It's not like we're only playing 15 or anything. We'll say go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 9. Yeah, there's only 3 lands left in our deck. There has to be action in here somewhere. Alright. What is our opponent's follow-up? Archangel of Thune. Well, she is definitely annoying. And are you going to attack with her? Or attack with the vampire? Because that's what you should do. No attacks. What do we draw? Okay, we draw a forest. I'm glad that everyone is here to see this. That we are over halfway through our deck and we have drawn 13 of our 15 lands. Baneslayer Angel. Okay, sure. Yeah, no, this is totally fine. Yep, the team gets huge. Still, I am baffled at why you have Isamaru and Baneslayer Angel in the same deck. Alright, well. Here is good ol' Whisperwood Elemental. Saying go. What do we manifest? Cultivate. Alright, I'm glad we're not drawing Cultivate. Because Cultivate is essentially useless at this stage of the game. We're not dead yet. Yet. Alright, what do they have? Gideon. I'm assuming Gideon's embleming? Oh, they're just going to make a 2-2? Okay. Okay. They're just going to swing with the Flyers, because they've been playing very conservatively this whole time. Which doesn't surprise me. Yep. Alright, and... Overwhelming Stampede. Duskwatch Recruiter. Huh. Hold on. Can I... I don't think I can find anything that helps here. Like, I would need to have Craterhoof Behemoth in this deck, and I do not have enough mana to Recruiter and find Recruiter, activate Recruiter, find and find Craterhoof. I guess we're taking Llanowar Elves. Search with Recruiter again. Whiff. Put the top 3 cards of your library on the bottom in any order. Recruiter again. There it is. Way too far to the bottom. Alright, and unfortunately, this deck, which I showed you guys the first match, and it cooked off really, really well, but sadly, it did not get there. Well, thanks for joining me on this little journey. If you liked what you saw, please consider giving the channel a follow, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to do all the social media things, you can find me on Twitter at jwiley129. That is JWILEY129. And yeah. Sorry, it went south there, but sometimes how drafts go. Catch y'all later.